Treyarch Zombies Call of Duty tier list, right? Written by GPT. So, one day I was just bored, sitting around, and I was like, I wonder what Treyarch, a Treyarch Call of Duty Zombies tier list would look like from GPT. So I went ahead and asked it, Treyarch Call of Duty Zombies tier list. Creating a tier list for Treyarch Call of Duty Zombies maps may be subjective. No, can be subjective based on personal preferences and gameplay experiences. But here's a general tier list of popular opinions. Now, what I'll have for you guys on screen is I'll have a tier list flash up every time we throw a new map on there. And one thing I did notice that was a little bit weird, and oh man, I don't think it included any of the fucking Black Ops 4 maps. So I guess it just completely just put Black Ops 4 out of it. They're like, nah, fuck this game. We're not even counting it in the tier list. But going in an S tier for ChatGPT's ranking. Okay. For coming in S tier, number 1 spot, we got Origins. Now, Origins, I can't even lie, that is, for me, an S tier map. I think that's a really, really great map. And it's kind of crazy that ChatGPT could even put that good of a map where it belongs. So Origins is an S tier. Now, moving along, we got Dreisenrack. So, Dreisenrack is second place S tier, and that is a very good spot for it. It really is. Coming in with number 3 is Mob of the Dead for the final S tier placement. Mob of the Dead is, for my opinion, it's a good map. Over the years and stuff, I don't know if I really would consider it S tier. As far as atmosphere, 100%, and how the map is, but as far as like replayability, I don't really find myself revisiting Mob of the Dead as much as I revisit like Blood of the Dead, simply just because one, it's hard to find fucking 4 people to do the Easter egg with, and then 2, Easter eggs just kind of in general. ChatGPT's A tier list. So, for the top of A tier list, we're looking at Kino Der Toten. So, with Kino being A tier, I think that's a little bit high, personally. I think it's more of like a C tier or a B tier map. If we're talking just strictly survival, yeah, sure, it could be an A tier. But if we're talking like replayability and like making me want to come back and play it, I personally don't think I would put it in A. It would teeter between like B and C. But Kino Der Toten's in their number 1 spot for A tier. Their number 2 spot for A tier is Ascension. While it's a great survival map for me, I just don't, and it did have the first Call of Duty Zombies Easter egg, so fuck. I guess that's acceptable. You gotta give Ascension some respect. Coming in for the number 3 spot for A tier is gonna be Call of the Dead. Call of the Dead is an A tier map. Black Ops 1's Call of the Dead is definitely an A tier map. The atmosphere, freaking George, like the way the map played and looked, like while it might not have the most insane wonder weapon in the world, it was an overall really good map. Now this is the one that I think they got wrong instantly. Just looking at it, this is fucking just evil. Shadows of Evil in A tier, I'm sorry bud, that's an S tier map. I just don't think there's any way around it. That is a S tier map. That is an S tier map as far as any S tier map will ever come. That for sure is S tier. So Shadows of Evil is in their A tier. Going on to their B tier now. This is really gets a little bit weird. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cluster these together because they did. Der Reese and the Giant. They're putting as the number 1 spot of B tier. That's an okay placement. I do think that is like a B tier map. Like if you're just wanting to play some mind numbing, go shoot zombies, that's a pretty good map to do it on. Coming in for number 2 spot of B tier, which is just disgusting that it's this low, is Gorod Kurovi. Now, there might be a skill gap for some players, but as far as the map, the wonder weapon, the Easter egg, and the boss fight, I'm sorry, Gorod is definitely an A or S tier map. It does not deserve B, so ChatGPT is fucking trolling. Buried. Buried is their number 3 B tier spot. Buried's my personal favorite map. Do with that what you will. That's one of my favorite maps as far as it just being like very easy for zombie players to get into, especially for Black Ops 2, which I consider a little bit harder of a game with a 2-hit down system. So, Barry being in the B tier at the 3rd spot is a little bit disgusting. Now, their 4th and final spot for the B tier is going to be Moon. Moon is definitely a B or A tier map. It has a great Easter egg that's like easy to do, and the atmosphere is pretty cool, but like I don't really like think a lot of people like love Moon. Like I love Moon, but I've talked to very many people about this like situation, and going back and playing Easter eggs with my homies, I will definitely say Moon is more really like, oh, we're gonna do Moon. It's just RNG hell, which it is. It's RNG hell. Like it really is. C tier. C tier at the top of C tier is gonna be Noctur and Totem. Now listen, Noct doesn't deserve C because without Noct, we would have no zombies. So for that, for me, Noct has to get an A or S tier. Nah, S tier is a little bit wild. It has to get at least an A tier. At least an A tier. Number 2 spot of C tier is Shinonuma. Now Shinonuma is an okay map. It like I think Shino was the first to introduce the Wonderwolf and perks. So no, Verrückt was the first one to introduce perks, which is its number 3 spot. So Verrückt, Shinonuma, those are, I feel like those are okay for C tier. Like I don't feel like that's the worst ranking I've seen. I've seen some zombie YouTubers rank them way worse. So that's okay. Now the one that I don't agree with at all, any way, shape, or form, in the bottom of their C tier is fucking Zetsubo. Zetsubo is amazing. Storyline wise is amazing. There's a couple fights in it, and they're fucking fun. Like okay, maybe the last little fight isn't the best because it's kind of fucking annoying, but the spider boss fight is pretty sick. D tier. D tier, I feel like they pretty much got right, minus the last one. So the top of D tier is gonna be Transit. Transit, yeah, that's pretty valid. I feel like, yeah, while it's fun to go play with the boys, Transit's not that great of a map. We gotta be honest. If it were to get brought back with new mechanics and stuff, I feel like it could be one of the better zombie maps we've ever played. But as it sits right now, Transit is definitely deserved to be in that D tier. Die Rise. Die Rise, while I like it, almost all the community hates it. And like I'm stoked for like T-Lexify, even though I don't have PC and I'm on Xbox, I am stoked for his rendition of Die Rise, or not his, him and everyone that's helped actually make the map. He's just kind of like endorsing it. But I'm excited to see what they cook up and watch the gameplay for it. Now the final one in D tier is Revelations. Now I don't think Revelations is a D tier map. Revelations is really fun. There's really cool shit you can do in it. All the masks, the random weapons, the crazy side Easter egg. Like there's a lot to Revelations. So I think putting it in D tier is a little bit harsh. It should at least be a B or a C, not a D tier. Like looking at their list, I would fucking switch out like fucking Shinonuma for Revelations and swap their spots. I feel like that's a little bit more valid. But as far as the list goes, guys, that is pretty much what we're rocking with, boys. Now, that's ChatGPT's ranking. If y'all want to see my zombies tier list ranking, now keep in mind, this is not a zombies channel exclusively. I will be talking about shit that I like. This is a variety channel. But if you want my zombie tier list ranking, including the Black Ops 4 and Cold War maps, leave a like, leave a comment below, and I'll go ahead and do it. But if you're new to the Nerd Cabin, thanks for tuning in. If you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, do all the YouTube things down below. And I appreciate you hanging out with me. But until next time, guys,